Look, we all want to live longer, right? But what's the point if those extra years are spent, well, not feeling so great? The real goal isn't just adding years to your life. It's adding life to your years. So today, we're going to break down Dr. Eric Berg's blueprint for not just hitting 100, but getting there feeling strong, healthy, and totally full of life.
All right, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to totally bust a huge myth about why people are living longer these days. Then, we'll get really clear on this crucial idea of health span versus just lifespan. After that, and this is a fun one, we're going to uncover some really surprising secrets from the parts of the world where people live the longest. And finally, the best part, you're going to walk away with a super practical, actionable plan to start building your own long, healthy life.
Okay, let's dive right into our first big topic. Why have our lifespans shot through the roof? I mean, really, why? You probably think you know the answer, but I promise you the real story is, well, it's probably not what you're thinking.
So is modern medicine the big hero here? I mean, that's what we're always told, right? Things like antibiotics and advanced surgery are why we live so long. But when you actually look at the timeline, it tells a very, very different story.
Just look at the dates here. The biggest jump, the major spike in how long we live, actually started way back in the early 1900s. Now think about this. Penicillin wasn't even discovered until 1928, and it took until the 1940s for antibiotics to be a common thing. So if it wasn't modern medicine driving that first huge leap, what was it?
The answer is plumbing. Yeah, you heard me right. Plumbing. According to Dr. Berg, the real unsung hero of our longer lives was the massive citywide effort to install modern sanitation and sewage systems. It was a total game changer.
And here's why that was so huge. These new systems basically wiped out these horrible infectious diseases like cholera, typhoid, dysentery. These were the things that were the #1 cause of childhood mortality back then. So by saving so many kids from dying young, the average lifespan for everybody just shot up like a rocket.
Okay, so this brings us to a really important idea. It's not just about how many years we're on this planet, but how well we're living those years. We need to shift our whole focus from just managing sickness when it happens to actively, intentionally creating health from the get-go.
And that brings us to maybe the most important word you'll hear today: health span. Seriously, forget just counting your birthdays, that's your lifespan. Your health span, on the other hand, is the number of years you feel fantastic. The years you're healthy, you're functional, you're vibrant. That is the new goal.
Just think about it like this. Two totally different approaches. On the left, you've got the old way, disease management. That's all about just suppressing symptoms, usually with drugs that, come with their own side effects. But on the right, that's our goal, creating health. This is about making your body work better, building up what's called a fitness reserve, and becoming way more resilient to stress. It's about a high quality of life.
And Dr. Berg really puts it perfectly. He says, I only want to live as long as I have the quality of my health. I mean, who wants to spend their last decades hooked up to machines or stuck in a nursing home, right? The real prize is keeping that quality of health for as long as we possibly can.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Well, let's go look at some real-world examples. We're going to check out what people are doing in the places on Earth that have the most incredible longevity.
First stop, Japan. This country is just in a league of its own. Check out this number. Over 95,000 people in Japan are over 100 years old. Just let that sink in for a second. 95,000. What in the world are they doing right?
Well, a lot of their success comes down to a few key habits. They make nutrition education mandatory in schools, which is huge. Their diets are full of things like fermented soy and seaweed, which are packed with critical nutrients. But here's the other side of it. It's also about what they don't do. They have this practice of eating until they're only 80% full, which is a form of calorie restriction. And they have a baseline of daily movement, just walking way, way more than most of us in the West.
But wait a minute, there's another place, Hong Kong, where people, on average, live even longer than in Japan. And what they're doing there is going to completely flip what you think you know about a healthy, long-life diet.
You ready for this? The average person in Hong Kong eats almost 324 pounds of meat a year, and a huge amount of that is pork and beef. The very foods we're constantly told to avoid if we want to live a long life. So, what is going on here? It's a fascinating puzzle.
And this perfectly captures one of Dr. Berg's main ideas. Sometimes you have to seriously question the so-called conventional wisdom. The data from Hong Kong is a huge reminder that the real story about diet and longevity is, well, it's a lot more complicated than the simple headlines we get fed every day.
Okay, so with all that in mind, let's bring it all back home to you. It's time to build your personal blueprint for longevity. We're going to walk through a really practical 4-pillar guide to start creating health in your own life, like starting today.
All right, pillar 1 is all about how you fuel your body. First things first, you have to get insulin under control, and that means ditching the sugar and refined carbs. That's key for tamping down inflammation. Next, you want to promote something called autophagy. Think of it as your body's cellular cleanup crew. You do that with intermittent fasting to clear out old, damaged cells. And finally, you got to nourish your mitochondria. Those are the little power plants inside your cells, with things like B vitamins and high-quality protein.
Okay, before we get to the next pillar, we need to understand this incredible concept called hormesis. It's basically the science behind that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The best example is lifting weights, right? The short-term stress of the workout is what signals your muscles to adapt and grow back even stronger. Hormesis is just applying that same amazing principle to your entire body.
And here are some perfect ways to put hormesis into practice. Intense exercise, the heat from a sauna, even the shock of a cold shower. These are all short-term, positive stressors. They send a powerful signal to your body to adapt, to get tougher. But here's the key. The magic really happens during the recovery. That's when your body rebuilds and becomes way more resilient than before.
Pillar 3 is all about mastering your rest, because let's be honest, sleep is absolutely non-negotiable for a long, healthy life. Here are some simple but super powerful hacks. Keep your bedroom cool. Get some sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning. That sets your internal clock. At night, wear some blue-blocking glasses to protect your sleep hormones. And make it a top priority to get 7.5 to 8 hours of quality sleep. And that brings us to our final pillar, number 4, building your foundation. What does that mean? It means keeping your muscle mass with resistance training, especially as you get older. It means getting your vitamin D levels optimized for your immune system. It means, and this is a big one, fostering real, strong social connections. And finally, it just means walking more, making it a non-negotiable part of every single day.
So as we wrap all this up, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. It really gets to the heart of everything we've talked about. Are you just trying to extend your life, or are you actively creating your health? Because they are not the same thing, and the choice, really, is up to you.